Welcome to Inside the Nation podcast. I'm your host, Eric Thoreau.
Mr. Tom Jones.
And we have a very special guest this week, and Rodney Fritz Jr. from the Arizona Rattlers.
Yes. Earlier in the week, we had a privilege of interviewing him, so we hope you enjoy what you hear.
We want to welcome Arizona Rattler Rodney Fritz to the show. We want to welcome you for taking Tuesday afternoon off.
Rodney, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing all right. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, we had to. Sorry about that. We had to say it was kind of hard to adjust to saying Rattlers, just because it's such a new situation for you.
But at least he got his jersey number back. You know.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? It was kind of weird. It was kind of funny too because I think in my just in my little couple years, 2-3 years, I never thought I'd be on the Rattlers either. It just kind of worked out that way.
Yeah. So basically, the way that we could go is like we want to know, how did you, before you came? I know your first year was in the AFL was with the San Jose SaberCats, and of course it was the best year you could have as a first year in the Arena Football League because you went all the way with not only like the best regular season record, undefeated in the postseason, and winning the Arena Bowl championship, especially in front of your head coach's home team, truly home team in Stockton. But we want to know, how did you ever even get involved in hearing about the Arena Football League prior to joining the team?
And also the understanding that you spent some time in Canadien Football League, right?
Yeah. Actually, I have to take you guys back because actually I would join the Arena Football League in 2011. I was with the Tulsa Talons, but only just for a couple weeks right before I went to Canada.
Okay.
And then I went to Canada. I spent 3 years there. And then in 2014, I came back home, and San Jose called me, and that's when I joined the SaberCats in 2014. And then 2015 was when you guys first seen me. So it was like, I got introduced to the Arena Football in 2011, actually. And it was just a short stay, and then I ended up going to CFL, So that's just kind of how that worked out. But speaking on last year was just magical just because of, I think we all had the same expectation. We just wanted to win. We got tired, if y'all know in years past that, Arizona's beat us. They went to the championship and all that. It was just one of those things where we finally got it and it clicked as a unit. So it was really meaningful, man. Like, 20-1, you never think, nobody ever thinks we're going to win 20 games in a season, especially being a professional, because the other guys are getting paid too. But as the season kept going and kept going and kept going, next thing you know, we just made history, and and we won the championship. That's the ultimate, So I'm thankful, man. I'm really excited now. Being in Arizona is, it's still the same expectation, but of course, we already lost 3 games, so.
Yeah. So prior to you joining Tulsa in 2011, and like I said before, even becoming a member of a team officially. And coming out of college, in your transition to come out of college, what was your experience of the Arena Football League? Have you heard of it? Have you gone to any games or seen any games in any way?
Yeah, actually, I did hear about the Arena Football League. I watched it back in the 1999s and 2000s, back when it was really big, like on ESPN.
Yeah.
You had my man from Chicago, was a Herald or whatever, making all the big catches. Number one, the receiver, he was killing the game. And that's when I first heard of it. Did I think I was going to play with it? No, I was like every other kid, thinking I was going to go to the NFL and, make this big money and get a big house and all that stuff. But that was when I first heard of it. When I came out of college, it's kind of weird because I never thought I was going to be playing arena either. But, it just ended up working out that way. They was like, hey, go get some more tape. And I went to a couple arena teams, and then I went to CFL. So, the journey itself was fun, but I never thought in my wildest that I was going to be playing arena.
And then, you were born in Missouri. Is that correct?
You're right. Kansas City.
So did you grow up a Chiefs fan?
I
guess not by the hesitation.
It's Facebook. It's complicated.
Okay.
No, I grew up. Oh man, this is so bad. I grew up a Steelers fan, but as the years kept going on, it's kind of funny. I actually grew to like the Chargers.
Okay.
So being from Kansas City and liking the Chargers is like it's almost as worse as liking Oakland, the Raiders. That's the original rivalry with the Chiefs is the Raiders. So the Chargers is kind of like, we don't like the Chargers, but if you was from Kansas City, you like the Raiders, then you might have a problem going to Kansas City.
Oh yeah, I can just imagine they're all sharing divisions, and it's just it's like you hate all the other teams.
Hey, but you got when you stayed out here in San Jose for your time out here, you probably got to know the field during the off season for the AFL and the NFL season that San Jose is actually a melting pot of people who like teams from all across the country. So we're used to it. Saying if we went to a 49er home game, that we will see a lot of fans for that other team that's coming in town. Or if you went to a Raiders home game, you'll see fans from other people from town because the area is so rich with other people's fans like yourself. Like you're in Kansas City, but yet you're a fan of another team from a different part of the country. So it's used to when people migrate and move, that shows that they still stay with their home team crowd, and we just got to appreciate it. And a lot of people came out here only because the .com boom and all the tech jobs that are here, but yet they still want to root for their home team and be faithful, which is cool. We don't just because you move somewhere doesn't mean you have to migrate to that team.
For sure, no, for sure, definitely. But I will say this. This is what I will say. I do like the Chiefs because, of course, it's the hometown. I root for them all the time. I like to see them do good, but I don't root for them all the time. But I will say this. You have to go to that stadium if you haven't went to that stadium. The loudest crowd you will hear in probably your lifetime.
That's a nice stadium out there. And
Arrowhead, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny because, growing up in the area and being like a Niners fan and everything, it's almost like they're like sister teams. In the past, there was a lot of back and forth, transactions and trades between the two teams. And when you take a look at the jerseys, they're kind of the same. So I'd love to see Arrowhead in person. It looks great on TV.
Yeah,
so,
at least we could say Arrowhead puts out natural noise from the crowd, unlike some CenturyLink field up in the Northwest wearing that blue and yellow and green. That pipes crowd noise from speakers.
It gets real loud there, man. One day I was at my auntie's house, and my auntie stayed. My auntie she was living in Raytown at the time. That's where the stadium is at. But she stayed probably like 10 minutes away from the stadium. And you could hear the stadium. Oh, man, you can hear that stadium from miles away. It's so loud. It's so loud, man. And then you have to go, Eric, you have to go for the tailgate. You have to go for the tailgate. If you don't go to Kansas City and get barbecue, shame on you.
Burnt
You
ends?
have to get you.
Burnt ends?
Huh?
Burnt ends? Isn't that a big Kansas City thing?
Yeah, whatever you want. Whatever you want. You just have to go to Arthur Bryant's, Good Gates, and dang, what's the other one? Dang, I keep wanting to say Joe's Cadillac, not Joe's Cadillac, but it's gonna come to me. I'll tell you. But you have to go to Arthur Bryant's and you have to go to Gates. One of the two, or you can go to Jack Stack too. You can go to Jack Stack.
Yeah, I heard Jack Stack. Yeah, a friend of mine. A friend of mine that lives out in Kansas, they were actually they have like a family vlog channel on YouTube, and they were showing the Kansas City Royals game. They were going to with their son for the first time, and they went and Jack Stack was out there. It was Game 7 of the World Series when our Giants beat them. And so
you bring that up.
I saw that barbecue, and it's like, oh, hey, but at least your Royals went back to the World Series the year after, and they won it.
Trying to dig himself out, huh?
You know what? You know what they say? They say is it's not the ones you got, it's always the ones you lost. Yeah. Or it's not it's not the girl you have, it's the girl that you let get away.
Oh yeah.
So it's 14 was bitter because I always think like if we would have won that one, we'd have been back-to-back champions.
Oh yeah.
Back-to-back.
Well, you don't know if you would have won 2014. You don't know what kind of transactions would have been made for the team, for 2015 season. So therefore, 2015 could have been. You don't know.
Right, you're right. Hold up, you're definitely right. But I'm just basing it off of what we did in 2015.
Yeah,
I'm basing it off of that. That's the only thing I'm gonna go off of.
I don't know. Like a dynasty. I mean, the SaberCats, should everything have gone as planned and they continued.
So we're talking about the Royals.
Oh, sorry. I'm jumping into...
yeah, we're talking about the baseball Royals, man.
All you had to say was 2015, and I said, oh, okay.
Yeah, we know
Right.
about the SaberCats of 2015, being a dynasty. So,
Right. That was a big year for me. We won the championship with the SaberCats. The Royals won the championship. Man, it was a great year. It was a great year for me.
yeah, just that the Chargers came in last. That's the only thing that was bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. You know what, man?
You can't win them all.
some, you win some. But at least we won two. I'll take 2 out of 3. Take 2 out of 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, have you been to the Sprint Arena, the Sprint Center there in Kansas City, the arena?
Yep. I've been to the Sprint Center. Matter of fact, in 2011, our last game of the season was in Kansas City at the Sprint Center. And so
I've heard that's a really nice arena to host an arena game.
Oh man, it's a great arena. It's pretty new. It's a nice stadium, man. I'm telling you. And I wish Kansas City still had an arena team. But for some reason, or another, they don't. But it was a nice venue. It was a real nice. It's still a fairly new stadium. It looks nice. It got the glass on the outside, like a glass bowl on the outside.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of college March Madness tournaments at.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice venue. I wish they did have one there. Yeah.
Yeah, so now we transition from we talked to, now we have to get back on topic to the arena game. We've already talked about your stint with the Tulsa Talons. How was your interaction there with the fans? And Tulsa's nice, man.
I had little to none actually because when I came, it was like the last home game, and they was moving to San Antonio the next year.
Oh.
So I was like, I was just new on the block. I was just kind of like filling out the new arena game, watching it. And I think that game, Orlando kicked our tail, man. They kicked us pretty good. And but I didn't really have any interaction with them, really.
Did you have any interaction with Mark Davis, the current owner of the Oakland Raiders? Because he bought into the group?
I didn't have any. I didn't, like I said, Eric, I didn't know nobody when I came there. And I kind of came there, and I met some people at the time, like JJ Payne and all them. But that was it. Like I said, I was there a couple of weeks and literally got the call to the CFL. And matter of fact, it was the end of the season, too. It was the end of the season when I came. So
were you actually kind of happy to go to the CFL just because it's a new experience and a country pride for Canada? And I mean, did you pick up any of that?
You know what, man? I was excited when I went to the CFL, and man, I did pick up some of the country pride they had up there, and it's really special, man, because it's always being in the U.S., you always see how things are done here. But up there, or going to different countries or whatever, you get the grasp of how things are done there. And one thing that I really liked about Canada is not only did they're more family oriented. Like they would have holidays during the weekends, and they would have sometimes they would give like the city just the Monday off.
Wow.
Just time for the family, just depending on what holidays it was. So it was like, they really value those things. And that was something I really liked. And then I did have a great interaction with the CFL fan base. I did have a great interaction there. And that was kind of like, I thought was what was to become, but things worked out, and I ended up, joining back in the Arena Football League.
So now there's a big contrast, I think, from my experience from being a fan in the NFL, where these larger-than-life gladiators are removed, and they're so far away, and you never interact with them, hardly any. So being in Canada, comparing it, is that more like the NFL as far as from a fan to player perspective, or is it more of a NFL or more of a AFL type situation there in Canada?
You know what? With the crowds being bigger, I would think it's more of an NFL type. But you did have certain fans that you've seen on a regular basis, and you embrace those fans. But it's too big. Their stadiums are 35,000. There's no way you're going to interact with all 35,000. Whereas arena, you might have 10,000, but you see 1,000 that you just know. Okay, yeah, you remember seeing. So, they had it was a very supportive fan base, but it was just no way. You knew who the certain ones were, and just like you did in San Jose, but you didn't know who everybody was.
And you get your family up in Canada exploring the local foods and experiences.
You know what? I didn't, man, and part of it was my fault because I just forgot to tell my mom and my sister to get their passport because we went to the Grey Cup my first year, the championship my first year, and they, I had tickets at hotel for them, and they just didn't have a passport, so
wow,
it kind of sucked though. But I mean, it is what it is.
So how was your transition coming back to the stateside, and dealing with now going to the arena team here, which was San Jose?
You know what? The transition wasn't bad, just because of my previous experiences with Tulsa and stuff like that. It kind of made a smooth transition. And then 2014, I didn't play, so I just used all that time to practice and make sure my game was sharp. And then 2015 came around, and I played. Unfortunately, I got hurt, but the transition wasn't as bad for me, at least for me myself.
Yeah, I know there's like a lot of issues with the league and how they're saying, or at least from a fan relationship and players, leaving like during the hunt of the heart of the Reno League season, going up to the Canadien Football League.
Right.
Like you said, you went up there from an AFL team, you went to the CFL team, and then you came back. Because people say they go to the CFL for the bigger money, and without getting too personal into your own situation there, we know that when you're up at CFL and you cash out, you get the Canadian tax rate, whatever you get taxed up there. But then coming back to the state, you get taxed again because you're bringing income in. Everybody knows that because when you do your taxes here, they ask you make money from a different country. Is as far as for the cost benefits, is it really worthy, like compared to like say you going from the AFL to the NFL? You're staying within the country, and of course NFL pays you more than what the CFL does. Is it really worth it to go up to the Canadian Football League?
You know what? For me personally, it was. And, I don't know what the exchange rate was. The exchange rate helps out usually a lot. I know when I was there, the exchange rate was like, I think the Canadian dollar was actually powerful at one point in time than the U.S. dollar. So I was actually gaining money coming back. And I think now, I don't know what this new CBA is, but I think now it's still worth it. And I think it's more so because when people get done with the season, they don't want to have to just go work or whatever. Yeah. You can make enough money to not work in the off season up there with the bonuses and all that stuff and the housing and all that stuff that you can get included in your contract. You can make enough to be able to come back and not work in the off season.
So that is part of the contract when you go up there as a player. Part of the contract for the CFL player is that the team will pay for your housing up there.
No. You have to get that included. You gotta be.
Oh, that's part of your negotiation.
Yeah, you gotta be smart and know what you can get and what you can't get. And then, smart as far as your bonuses and stuff, and and the thing is, you can be a player. Player performance. Where if you get a certain amount of sacks, it might be $1,000 a sack. So. If you bring in 3 sacks, you just made $3,000 just off of that, not including your base,
Yeah. So
it's definitely, like I said, it definitely can be worth it. And then once you become a known name, you're looking at 6 figures, So
yeah, it can be
just to each his own,
Okay, that helps us out. That paints the picture a little bit better, because it comes from you that had the personal experience up there, and a lot of people are like wondering, is it really worth it? Because a lot of players have to go up there, they get paid X amount of dollars, yeah, that might be bigger, but then they have to, pay for their, the housing, their transportation, their own food. And like if you have an arena, and then when you come back, not only you did get taxed up there, you have to fill out the taxes up there and deal with that, but then when you take your money from there and that you earned up there and you bring it back to the stateside, you get taxed again, double taxation, and then you also, lose out on that. But a lot of people are saying that, well, here in the arena, you get paid on like say under $1,000 a game, unless you're the quarterback, and then you get housing and you get 2 meals a day, depending on the sponsorships and all that stuff, and transportation is sometimes taken care of, or carpooling with other players or whatever.
2 meals a day, that sounds like prison or something.
Well, sponsored meals, come on, don't, come on. We've seen Rodney, at a so-called Al joint, a couple of times on Tuesdays down here in San Jose, so we won't say the name of the place because they're not a sponsor, Hooters. But So, but we just want to, sort of, paint the picture, and sort of clarify a little bit more without going too much specifics because, it's personal finance, and that's their own dealings with the team and all that. So now that's here. Now you're back here stateside. Everything's cool. You're stylish. You're getting play with the SaberCats. You said it was the best season, even though you were injured for a little bit. How was your interaction besides us being here? How was your interaction with the other fans besides us?
You know what? It was great, man. I still interact with some to this day. That's crazy, right? And I think it's for me personally, it's more than football. It's more than football. Yeah, I play and stuff. But when I dealt with other fans, I've dealt with fans and, after football, it was just like, all right, they're gone. But these people still keep in contact, Facebook message, always sit in, have a good game, or go and have fun, or even coming to the game, people are, making a trip to come see you play. So it really takes another element. You make you appreciate these people, not just fans, but people, you appreciate them because they don't have to do all this. You don't have to do this, Tom, you don't have to do this, but you guys take time and to make it work. And that's what I really appreciate, from the fans more than anything, from you guys more than anything too.
I appreciate that. Our attitude is that, if the league is struggling, especially, that is even more important time to do what you can in order to promote the league and keep the walls up, right? So, for us, I think what really inspires us is we could have just said, you know what, we don't have another team in San Jose. This is what happened. It is what it is. Let's just forget it. Right. Let's go do something else. But instead, it's it actually inspired us even more so to get involved, and that's why we're doing what we are today. It's not just a San Jose thing. It gives us the opportunity to connect with all the other fans around the league. So that's what did it for me.
Yeah, and we started out with our first game that we covered was the Jacksonville Sharks at the LA Kiss game, when you remember the Kiss, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we were there, and of course we saw you there. We had to do a double check because you wore some other number 17, but we was like, who's 17 wearing Fritz's last name on there? We're like, we don't know who that is, But we saw you down there, and then I transitioned and I went to the LA Kiss at Arizona Rattler game. I covered that game, and I got you on video. You're on Ninth Man TV if you check it out. And I got that little game. It's like LA Kiss versus Arizona, vid clips. It's like a little clip, of everything. I got you out there, and now you're with Arizona, and he covered the Portland Steel game afterwards, and most recently the LA Kiss, Arizona Rattler game, when I guess you were a member now of the Rattlers, right? That you got traded. So, but yeah. Talking about the LA Kiss, how was your time and dealing with the trade? I know a lot of the SaberCat fans went down there because there's a lot of, basically that's the Southern SaberCats, if you could call it, down there in LA or in Anaheim. Right. How was your dealings with them and the fan base down there in Anaheim?
My dealings with LA were a little bit different, but the fans were cool. I got to connect with maybe a couple of fans. But just overall, just being in LA was just a little different. Even though I lived there, it was just a little different, and, it was just, and it's crazy how all this worked out. It's just the way it worked out. And I guess it must have had to happen. So
yeah, but wasn't it days or hours between, the teams when you knew you were here and then all of a sudden you were there? I mean, that was a short amount of time. I mean, literally, 1 week you were playing in this jersey. The second week you were playing on the other side of the field, against the same team. That must have been a weird experience.
It was funny because I was doing a commercial. I didn't know, to be honest, I didn't know what happened. I was doing a commercial. I knew I didn't play that game that LA had went to Tampa, and they already talked to me about a couple of things they might do. But I didn't know what happened. And then all of a sudden I got a call, and I was like, man, I can't talk to these people. I'm on the team. And then Cornelius Dixon called me. He was like, man, you going to the Rattlers pretty much. I was like, what? And so then I called them, and it was like, yeah, we picked up your rights or whatever from the LA Kiss, and that was that. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right, I'm going to Arizona. Yeah, It kind of just went down like that. I didn't even know what happened.
Yeah, so you're rejoining some of the SaberCats that went out to Arizona too, like Jordan Mudge, and
Right.
and also Maurice Purify, who was with the SaberCats towards the end of last year. So how's it reconnecting with at least those people out there?
It's always good, man. Connected with old teammates, and putting in work. So I think it's good for the standpoint. We all trying to win a championship, man. That's what it's all about. Demetrio Tyson and Damian Burrell and Chris McAllister. Those guys were up there too.
Yeah.
And it's fun being back out there with those guys, man. Like it's almost like San Jose all over again, but we're just in another state, So it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, we'll keep it on the DL that you just said. It's like San Jose and Arizona because the arch rival between Arizona and San Jose. So we got to keep that cool. Otherwise the fans will get at you for make you enemy number one, even though you wear their jersey.
Right.
And I would imagine that you would get a.
Never expected in my years of playing football to play in a Rattlers uniform. I never expected. Like I said, I didn't know it happened. I didn't even know it happened. I just all of a sudden like, well, I mean, it's in this season, so I might as well go.
Yeah. How is it going through the practice? Out in the Arizona heat. How you dealing with it, or how are they instructing you on how you deal with it?
Hydrate. You gotta hydrate. My first day I came in, I was cramping up and everything else. It was kind of funny to me, but after that my body adjusted. But you gotta hydrate. You can't go out in this heat without hydrating.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're not hydrated, go get some Pedialyte. You'll be fine.
So that was different. I mean, I know LA is not as hot, of course, but
right.
Both LA and San Jose, you were still practicing outside, weren't you?
Right. Yeah. San Jose. You know what? San Jose had like a hot box. So where we practiced at was like a box, and in that box it got hot in there.
Oh yeah.
And so we would try to and then also some of the players like myself would wear sweatpants and long sleeves to try to recreate that heat to, try to better condition our bodies to play in the game. And so out here in Arizona, I don't have to wear none of that. It's just hot. It's just hot.
Yeah. And are the fans taking you in? I know it's you haven't been there for quite that long. Are you starting to kind of get the lay of the land there as far as from a fan perspective?
Right. From what I know, yes. As soon as I got into LA, they was like, "Oh, you're Fritz, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah," and then so they kind of already like, "Okay, he's on our team, he's with us," like they're kind of embracing me. So, I'm just thankful for that.
Have you had a home game yet with Arizona?
No, this week will be the first week.
Wow.
Okay, so
that's something.
So Justin, I don't want to get ahead of myself right now. But when you go to the game and you're playing the game, everything's over with, and you do, I don't know if some of the player management, tell you to go and do the post game signing there on the field, because they actually allow the fans on the field, like compared to LA they do, but San Jose they did around the dasher boards only. But when you get done and you go to the post game meeting, there's at Marley's is their sponsor for the post game meeting. Great food there, great atmosphere. The quesadilla is really good.
Okay, all right.
So I'll just give you a heads up on that, because I was there a couple weeks ago, back in May, and I tried it out because I was interviewing John and Michelle Staples, because I don't know if you've heard, Michelle is battling ovarian cancer right now. So and they wear these teal shirts that say 1L's Army on the front of them. And I went and registered a domain name, 1lsarmy.org, to take it to their Facebook page, make it easier for people. Right. But yeah, she's battling ovarian. It started the same time as the league started this season this year, and she got diagnosed with it. But she's going good, and she looks good. She's been to see all the home games as far as I know. So she hasn't missed one home game as of yet. So knock on wood that she doesn't miss the game when you're there. But you'll notice them. They sit right there in the front row, right next to the visiting bench. So you'll see them directly across from now that you're on the Arizona side. So you'll see them. You can't miss them. So
okay.
But yeah, they're great fans out there in Arizona. They're true passionate. And they do get on the other team's case for being there. Right.
What does she wear? What does she wear? Like, do you know, like a jersey or?
Oh, she wears a T-shirt. It's a T-shirt. It's at least this season. They started out that she did wear her the old school Arizona Rattler road jersey, the white with the teal shoulders on top. But now they had custom jerseys, custom T-shirts. Made up with 1L's Army. I don't know if you've seen pictures with me on it because I wore it to the game. You know that game that I was there with you in LA Kiss? When you were with LA Kiss, I was there covering it with you guys.
Oh, you talking about in Arizona? Yeah.
Yeah. So the teal shirt that I was wearing, it has like a Bible saying on the back, but it says 1 L's Army on the front. And, that's basically what they'll most likely be wearing. I'll shoot you a picture, and I'll text it to you. That way you have a clue, of what they're wearing. And I have a picture of them on YouTube too, because I did a video clip as they were interviewed by CBS Sports Network on one of the games there. So, but yeah, they're there, and she's looking well. Her skin color, it looks like it's pretty much normal. She hasn't really whitened out yet from, the blood cell count and all that stuff. But they share a lot of information on their Facebook page. They're very, personal and open about the whole thing, But she's doing well. She's doing well, and she's making strides. And hopefully by the time the Arena Bowl is, not only who will be celebrating the Arena Bowl, will also be celebrating her remission out of chemo. So,
right. So that's that a lot. Let's hope that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. That just kind of goes to show you it's you guys connecting with the fans on that kind of level, because when it comes to situations like that, as it's like the game's important, but to like people with lives and family and all that and everything, of course, that takes precedence over anything. But I
don't know if you can see this. This is Michelle, actually, back when she was actually a Kansas City Chief cheerleader. Not to rub it in, so don't mention that you lived in Kansas City and you rooted for the Chargers.
Right. I'm not going to tell her. I won't tell her.
And this is the, as we're showing people who are on SoundCloud here on our podcast can't see this, but this is the 1 L's Army.
Okay.
So they basically have it spelled out more like, 1 L's as one thing, more than just a logo. But that's the logo they go by that was created for it, because it was kind of an inside joke when I created their GoFundMe page when I was actually heading down to the LA Kiss Jacksonville game. I was typing it so fast, and I spelled their name with 2 L's. So, and then I think they did that, say Eric, 1 L's Army, So, but it was all a joke. I went back and changed it once I got to Anaheim, but, so that was kind of funny. But, yeah, we've got a lot of, looks on it, and it shows that it takes this small of a thing, or not small with ovarian cancer, but it takes something like this, that shows, and the same thing what happened in Orlando at the Pulse nightclub, that all the fans from around the country forget that they're fans of their home team crowd, and they go and they show support no matter what it is. And that's why Ninth Man Nation unifies the fans as one fan. So, and we're all like family. You could say business-wise, you get a paycheck from the Arena Football League, but technically it's the Arena Family League. Because we're all one family, whether it be, the ownership, whether it be, the people in the office, the players, the dance team members, and the fans, we're like all one family. And it shows that. And if people go to the games and they get involved, they'll know that, hey, this is something that it's truly cool, and it's good for my home family, and it's good for everybody.
So, so kind of get back to the player experience. I'm sure you have a lot of memories on the field, and I'm sure you have a lot of memories, especially in San Jose. Is there any particular story or two that you could tell us that really kind of sets aside what really made a difference for you, just your experience as a player?
Is this supposed to be like more of a funny story or more of a serious?
Whatever you want. I mean, you could say you could be funny because since we just got off of a serious topic with the cancer and all that, but
right. So I need one story that just kind of defined me as a player.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? You know what? I'll go back to last year. I mean, I got so many stories, but I'm gonna go back to last year in 2015. When I got hurt, I hurt my groin. I was out for 12 weeks. 10 weeks. I missed 10 games, so I was out 12 weeks.
Wow.
But through that whole time, man, it was tough because I wanted to be out on the field and I felt like I could do it, but they set me down. And everybody just keep waiting, your time's coming, And I was having a great start of the season. I was number 2 in sacks and all this stuff. So I was like, yeah, man, I'm pumped up. And then it happened. So I was just I just kept working at it. I was getting frustrated. But week 19 when we played Arizona, that's when I guess I kind of got my breaking point because I had a pretty good game that game, and it kind of like set the tone like going into the playoffs. And so that's where I would say like I made a lot of strides and a lot of growth through that time. So it helped me deal with even the situation in LA. It helped me deal with that too.
So it's kind of funny. I guess you made an impression with Arizona in that game because here we are. As soon as they had an opportunity to grab you up, there you are. So
yeah, they saw you on the inactive reserve. Right. They said, "Boom, we got him. This is ours."
Oh, we remember what you
gold
did.
mine.
Yeah.
Right, man. And I guess so, man. And you know, it just works out that way, man. And hopefully it all works out for the good at the end of the day. But all we can do is control today. So we're gonna see where it happens.
Yeah, from our standpoint, if we were to go back to say, okay, well, we're SaberCat fans, thick and thin, and we want to see our former SaberCat players do well. Now we can't because we got you in Arizona with Burrell and Munch, and then we got and Purify, which was originally Rattlers, and then we got the group down in Anaheim still playing for the Kids that they were there. Stanley and everybody that was down there with DJ Stevens and Clevon Thomas. Right. We want them to win too, but they can't win the Arena Bowl. You guys can't win the Arena Bowl at the same time. And then we got Reggie Gray with Jacksonville.
So you know what we got to do? It's fantasy football. That's what fantasy football.
We got to start a fantasy football league, in AFL.
There you go. Start fantasy football.
And my number one pick for defensive end will be some guy named Fritz Jr. Have you heard of him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does okay. He's no Sam Hernandez yet, but he's okay.
Just okay, man.
You're just okay.
You know what? As long as you get the job done, I'm all right with that, man.
as long as they don't home in on you and pick apart your play, that means you're doing your job.
Right. You're right about that. I got to stay on my toes now. Can't go in there just slacking.
Yeah, this is a message to Coach Guy. Play Fritz. He'll do your team well. He gives your heart and soul because I've seen you out there, even in practice. Sometimes I was going to say when I saw you in practice at the SaberCat facility, say, Fritz, whoa, slow down. Because, you give your heart and soul to this game. And that's what's good about all these players. They do give their heart and soul to the game. And it shows that they truly appreciate the sport of football and the game of arena football. And it's just genuine pure pleasure. And it's a genuine pure joy to be able to become friends with you. Like, I've become friends with you. I've become friends with Reggie and everybody else too, past and present. Right. And that's one thing you can't say about the no fun league that we like to call it.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So Rodney, what's your profession? Eventually you're gonna have to look outside of football. Do you have any plans as far as I know you'd love to make it on eventually a team that you could retire and you have all this money and living fun in the sun, but if that were not to happen and you had to continue with a career, what career would that be?
Personal trainer.
Personal trainer. Good one.
Yeah. I'm actually really excited about that stuff. So I've been studying for a while now. I'm gonna go get these certifications this month. Actually, it's funny we start talking about this. So I'm already kind of already been peeping down the future. I've been looking in the future already.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of just preparing myself, to make that smooth. Try to make us as smooth as possible that transition from football. And of course, I'm still gonna probably be dealing with football in one aspect, one facet or another. But
coaching,
for me, for sure, personal training, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. And the thing is about what's good about you being a professional athlete and you're on professional organizations, and you say that you want to be a personal trainer, you could pick the brain of the trainer, the head trainers at each team. Like with the Rattlers, right. You're there now. You could pick his brain, and he will give you sort of a different perspective on the way he does things. And then, say the guys in KISS and the guys here in San Jose do, and you could get down and just use their knowledge and take mental notes of that. So when you do go from a football perspective, because I know football training is different from, say, general losing weight, because I know I got to lose a lot of weight and all that stuff. And it's not like this Biggest Loser thing where you can lose 100 pounds.
You got a client here.
No, actually, I think I got a client him. I'll help him with his marketing of his business.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, Eric. That's what I'm talking about.
So on the offline, we'll swap information, more, and I'll get in touch with you. I can help you market your business.
There we go. I'll definitely take it. I'll take whatever I can get. I know you're doing a great job marketing right now, so I'll take it.
We're just getting started. You don't know what's going to happen for the 2016 season, or 17.
Right.
What year is it? 16, because we kept on saying 15 all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, 2017 season, especially when, Washington comes in with their red and white blue jerseys and all that stuff,
Right.
and they're coming in. So we got something more visual. I know you can see us here, but when the podcast goes, it's just audio only. So even though we can see it, just so it gives us better, communication, 101, we can see what's going on. But we're going to take this and we're going to grow it to a TV program.
Okay.
So it's still touching. We're reaching out to a couple local areas here. I'm reaching out and we're getting our video stuff, whether we do, we're going to be doing 4K and 1080p, and then, now we got 360 right here, getting us on 360 camera.
Okay. So that means big things is coming. Is coming in.
We want to promote this league. Our heart and soul is this league.
Right. And ours is too. Everybody's heart and soul, man. I'm just trying to make this thing grow, man. It's been a rough ever since that incident in 2009. So everybody's still kind of bouncing back, and I think we're almost there. Though we're almost there, I think.
Yeah. Do you think, from a perspective of playing one way, do you think the league needs to get back to the old say of getting back to Iron Man rules to sort of getting the core fans back?
You know what? That's a good question, man. I honestly don't know, because if you go one way, then that means you're supposed to have specialists in every group, every position, specialists. But if you go two ways, that means some receivers aren't good DBs and some DBs aren't the best receivers. So I guess, I don't know. That's what it says, however you look at it, Me personally, I'll keep it the same because I can't play O-line.
I was going to ask you, what if a guy said, okay, hey, Rodney, we just implemented our Iron Man rules back again. So after you get done with this 4 downs here on defense, go back and play, fullback right away and take over Benson's spot.
Right.
Would you be able to do that?
Man. If I had to do it, I'll do it. But
give you my money too,
as far as you talking about tight end guard, man, I'm too light to be playing that position.
Yeah, I think they'll put you where Benson plays. So if Mikael Benson went out, you'd be filling his spot, that kind of level where you would play. So and then we will have to say, okay, now Ronnie, you have to get your touchdown celebrations ready, and it's a practice.
All right, I can do that.
Playing with Reggie Gray, I'm sure you had some choreography moves ready with him.
Right, yeah, man. You know what? I got more moves to come. More moves.
I'm sure you haven't always played on your side of the ball that you're playing on now, right? I mean, throughout college and everything, did they do a lot of switching around and everything?
In high school, I was both sides. But in college, you stayed on one side. And that's when I was, that's when I decided defense was the thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so I know we've been into this part for a little bit. We kept you on your day off, 1 day off, and enjoying your air conditioning there from being out in the heat. But how was your 4th of July yesterday? How'd you deal with you and your family? How did you celebrate?
Well, actually, my family's back in Missouri. I went to one of my old teammates in 2011. I went to his place, and they just popped fireworks and stuff. And actually, you know what? We had practice earlier today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we had practice. But I just said Tuesday because it was more convenient. I knew after our day, I was like, okay, cool. And I don't have nothing else to do, so we can do it then. I was trying yesterday and Sunday and all that stuff.
So are you a big critic then with the barbecue, especially with 4th of July, being from Kansas City?
Oh man, I'm a big critic, man. I'm probably the worst person to be around barbecue. I'm gonna be honest. If I go to somebody's barbecue spot and they say try barbecue and it doesn't look good, I'll fake it. I'll act like I've tried it, but I'm not gonna try it. Barbecue is just that big being in Kansas City. And now if they say, we got some Kansas City style barbecue, I'll be like, okay, let me try it. Let me see if it's really Kansas City style. And, but yeah, barbecue is so hard, man. It's so hard.
And you I'm sure you got a favorite, right? Favorite
do.
food? Favorite technique?
Do you like chicken? You like steak? You like tip? What kind of meat?
I'm more of a basic chicken guy. You know, basic. I'm basic. Chicken. I like the turkey. I could do some ribs sometime. I could do some ribs. You know, or brisket.
Oh, wow.
But for the most part, chicken.
I think there goes the personal training. He's going to get everybody, fed up on this barbecue. That's where his clients are.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah, they'll recycle. It's like, okay, I'm going to work you out. You're in shape now. Go enjoy the barbecue. Oh, now you need to get back in shape again? Here he comes again. Repeat cycle.
You're going to hold that chicken leg right out in front of the treadmill right there.
Keep the sauce poured down.
Yes. Before we let you go, we want to do a little preview that as we're recording this on Tuesday, but this will go up on Friday. Tomorrow is your game against Jacksonville and the revisiting of Highland and Gray. Now, most likely you'll be dealing with Gray because he'll be cutting you, through the middle as you are in the defensive end. But how you think you're going to deal with, meeting up with those guys again?
Oh man, they still my teammates, man. It's just we just happen to wear different uniforms right now, and so I'll still have the most love and most respect for them, and I'll shake their hand and I'll talk to them before the game, but during the game, we're enemies until after the game.
Yeah,
and that's just the way it is, And I'll probably hang out with them after the game, but before the game, during the game, I won't talk to them.
So I'm sure, I'm sure you won't reveal, but I'm sure during practice, being with them last year, I'm sure you have your little tricks of the trade and what to look out for, and what works and what doesn't work.
I have a little bit, but you know what? I let the coaches handle it. I do my job. I just do my job, man.
That's cool. So we thank you for taking some time out on your Tuesday after the practice. I know you're probably a little tired and sore for whatever beat down they put on you this morning. So we thank you for taking some time out, Rodney. Of course, you and I will contact shortly after this game, after the interview here. So like we can swap information, and so Tom will too. And we look forward to having the best of luck for the rest of the way, and we wish you and the Rattlers the best of luck.
I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. Go feed up on some shark and Tommy Grady, man.
We'll see you soon.
Right.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right.
We want to thank Rodney Fritz Jr. of the Arizona Rattlers for being on our Inside the Nation podcast.
Yes, and also thank you for sharing with us some information about where to eat when in Kansas City. But for more information on our podcast, please visit us on ninthmannation.net.
Yeah, and you can also make sure you follow us to get the latest podcast episodes fed right to your phone or to your computer on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, and Google Play Music, just to name a few. We are all over the place, so be sure to share us and like us on those mediums. And we'll see you next time on Inside the Nation podcast.